All right, guys. Well, as you can see, it's a little colder today. Actually, it's not as cold as it has been. It's just, there's some solid white sunshine out there, which doesn't bother me at all. About we're supposed to get, at this point, they're saying like 6 inches. We've got about, last I measured, 3.5, almost 4 in a few spots. It's rain, and now it's sleeting, so I think it's pretty much over. It'll probably just keep sleeting, turn back into rain, and disappear here in no time. So I'm out here in the shop. I got the heater going. Yeah, it's 55 out here. My mini split works great. I have no complaints about my mini split. I just need to finish the other half of the insulation on the ceiling, get that boarded up with something, and get another mini split in here, because when I put that in, it was never big enough in the first place. So, I knew that. It was just, it is what it is. But today we're going to talk about, not just talk about, but we're going to fix the hood for this car. Now, this is a Dynacorn injection molded fiberglass top, sheet metal bottom. This is not a traditional fiberglass. This is actually a it's an FRP. A lot of, you see, like jet skis, like on the hoods of jet skis will have the part that opens, and I'm talking, I don't know about the new ones now. I don't have a clue now. I'm talking like you go back to like the 90s, because we had like the Yamahas or the Wave Raiders and stuff like that. Wave Raider was great hull, nice and fast. But the top half was, this is a similar kind of thing, where it was a fiberglass plastic mix, which fiberglass is technically plastic anyway, because the epoxy's plastic. But anyway, this is not a laid up thing. This is actually a injection molded item, and then it is glued to a piece of steel. And unfortunately, the quality of this part is not very good. This particular one is actually from Dynacorn. And from my research I've done, I've actually found that there are, let me get you a little closer here. You can look at the hood and kind of listen to me. But from my research, I think there's 2 manufacturers of these now. So one is like this with the hole cut, and the other one does not have the hole cut. I've seen references to one being made overseas and one being made here in the U.S. I sincerely hope this is not the one made here in the U.S., because it's bad. It's pretty bad. It's going to look good when it's done. It'll look fine when it's done, but it's going to require quite a bit of if it was steel, you'd say heat and beat. Well, this is going to be heat and bend, because there's a lot of irregularities and issues from manufacturer on this hood, where what I see, we got a really good price on this, because it was from a local place that restores cars and sells them, and they had this amongst some other stuff. I bought the quarter panel. My quarter panel, I think, was $80 that I bought from them. So we got some pretty good prices on stuff from them at the time. When I see what this thing is retailing for now, there is no way on earth I would buy. I don't care what brand of this type of hood. There's just no way I would buy one at the current price that these things are. It is just, it's not worth it. I would go for a true full fiberglass hood, and they are actually easier to fix anyway than this with the steel. But yeah, I would not go this route today. I would definitely not go this route today. And that's assuming it's a better quality hood than this. I would still not go this route. If this was a better quality hood and did not require the, you expect to fill divots and things like that, but you don't expect to do what I'm going to have to do. So if this was sold today in this condition, I would say, hey, I wouldn't. This should be on the market for like $250. To be honest, if that, it shouldn't be any more than that. It is just if you were having to do the work on this the way it is, it's going to cost a fortune, and most people are not going to want to touch it. So just be warned. That's kind of where it is. I don't know what the current state of these is. I have noticed, I've been kind of watching it, that these things have gone out of supply in a number of places. So maybe they're transitioning to a different factory or something along those lines. I don't know, but there's something going on there, and I'm starting to see more of the ones that do not have this hole cut out, where you actually have to cut it out. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully they're improving the quality of the product there for whoever makes these things. I hope, but you know, this is kind of like the torque boxes on the, you know, the older torque boxes. They were horrible. The newer ones now, pretty good. I hope that that's the case with these hoods. I hope the ones that are available now are better quality than what was available a couple years ago. That's my hope. So I'm going to get you in close, and I'm going to show you all of the major issues that I've got with this hood. All right, so now that I've got you handheld here, and we can just come over here, and at the moment I've got, this is just a little bit, okay, that's better. This hinges, well, there's no springs on these hinges, so they kind of flop up and down where they want to go. And I've got you kind of at an oblique angle here. And see, we're not horrible there. We're a little bit high right now. Then we kind of have a dip here, and we kind of go okay. And then we're just sort of climbing the hill here. And then we get to over here, and you know, then we're pretty high. We've got a big hill right here. I mean, it's humongous of a hill. And hopefully I can take a few pictures and insert them here and show you just how much that is. So, but what's happening is this has a big, the main area is here and here, okay? And we'll have the same issue right on the other side. And I'll get you over here. Let me get around my IV stand here. And we'll see that this spot over here is the worst spot here too. Now, it also continues down here pretty bad as well. Because you can see we're pretty good here, and we're pretty good here, but we just go way high for most of this. And that is, and if you can't feel it, but if you had feel-o-vision, you could actually feel that this is actually ramping this way. This has a big ramp on that angle there. I don't know if I can illustrate that here or not, but I'll have you guys look at it and see. You know, we'll just see. Hang on, I gotta turn my screen back on. But hopefully you can see that there, and we can kind of come over here and kind of, we can do the same thing, and you can kind of eyeball down that, and maybe you can see it. There is a little divot right here. I don't care. I would much rather this whole edge and this whole edge be down. It's far easier to go up than it is to go down. But I think what's happening is when this top piece was coming out of the mold, was that they were picking it up and they were putting their hand here and putting a hand on the other side, picking this thing up while it is still hot, which means not cured. But while the thing was still hot, they were picking it up and manhandling it that way, pick it up, move it, set it down. And they may have, you may need to get another hand here. And that put a warp into both of those edges, and then it cured that way. And then you have one on the bottom, you put another one on top, and then it just gets worse. Another little issues, I don't like this gap. This gap is basically at 3/8 right now, and this gap cannot get any better. That is as good as this gap can get, unless I take the fenders, I chop something out of the fenders, I make the fenders shorter, or I extend onto the back of the hood. Or the third is that when I come up to here, and I've got this and I come down to the point here, and that little point right now from the extension is perfect with that when I put that on. So the thing would be is I could move this back, but then I would have to build this out to match this the extension that goes here. So you guys do whatever you want to do. For the moment now, I am putting the hood where it wants to be in relation to the fenders, and the fender cannot go any further back unless I cut into the A-pillar and things like that. So it's where it is too. So you know it's a choose your own battle. You know, go to page 12 and go to page 32. Pick the one you want to do and go with it. I'm at the point now where I am thinking I'm probably going to leave the hood where it is, make sure it's even with this, unless when I start working on this and getting this flattened out, that for some reason this lines up better if I slide it back or slide it forward or whatever, and it works out better with the curves on this. Because there is an issue with these aftermarket fenders. They do not drop off as much at the front as the factory ones did. So you do have an issue that you're going to deal with right here. And again, you have to figure out how you want to attack that. So, like I said, we are about 3/8 right here. And don't forget, there's a seal that goes in here. And I have seen cars, when Barry and I went to NPD in Florida, there's that 60, was it 64 and a half, 65, whatever it is, with basically no miles on it, right out of the factory. And I've got pictures of it as well, the way that, you know, huge gaps, and hood was over, you know, rubbing up against the fenders and all that stuff. That's just the way these cars came out of the factory. So, and that's just the way it is. And then we went to the last museum, that the hood on it actually had a bigger gap than this, and I believe it was a 67. I believe it was 67, and it had a bigger gap than this. And there is the seal that goes in there. So that's just the way the game is played. That's the way it is. I can, if everything else works out great, I can come back and on this back edge here, because this is a fiberglass-ish part, I can lay up a little lip and add on to the back of that and extend that hood back just a little bit if I have to, or if I want to. We'll see. So I'm going to get this set up, and I'm going to stop talking at this point, because I've probably been talking for, 12 minutes. So I'm going to get this set up, and we're going to modify this little edge here and bend it over and hopefully manhandle it into place. We'll see what happens. All right, well, I hope you can see that. What I'm going to show you here is I'm pretty much level here, and I'm just going to drag this down, and you guys can just watch what happens. Yeah, put my finger under it there. And then we basically come into, we're livable in this area here without a whole lot of issues. You know, I wish this nose would drop off a little bit more on the metal. It is what it is. But this, you know, guys, that's bad. That's bad. You know, we're good here. We're good here. That's just bad. We're talking, 3/16 or so. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a few tape marks down here, and original idea was just, I actually may just put a piece of tape, and I'm just going to put some hash marks on where it's the worst. That way when I lift it up, I know exactly where I'm, you know, got to bend it the most. So we'll just kind of go with that. All right, so well, the way we're going to tackle this and see, it should work, but being this has the steel underneath it, this is a little different than a normal fiberglass part where you just heat it, pull it past where you want to go, let it sit, and come back. But with the steel underneath, it's going to add a little bit of complexity to it, because you've got this piece of steel in there, which I don't know the quality of the steel. And in fact, I actually have, if I can find it really quickly, which I can't. It's not, wait. Never mind, it's not there either. I actually have a couple pieces of steel from some floor pan, don't lean on the car, from floor pans that I found what they do on the really cheap stuff is that they anneal the metal very, very soft before they stamp it, which makes it nice and flexible, which gives you, when you put it into the molds, you know, or the stamps of the dies, it doesn't damage the dies as much. And the hope is that the stretching of the metal will add the strength to the steel and bring that back into the metal, guys. Yeah, that's your thing. But I've found that a lot of the steel, that not just stuff you get on some of the automotive stuff, and is certain ones here, and certain things you buy out in the world are very, very soft steel. And I've got one piece I can bend it back and forth. I can make circles out of it and flatten it right back out perfectly flat, all by hand. And there's no wrinkles in it, no tears. It's just, it's like playing with Play-Doh or something. It is such a soft piece of steel. If I can find that, I'll put that in here. So I don't know what the impact of that piece of steel is going to be in conjunction with all this. So I've got the hood propped up right now, and I have basically kind of put a piece of tape on here, kind of drawn out the rough angles that I've got to deal with out here into here. So basically where it's the highest and kind of where it ramps off, I've kind of replicated that up here somewhat. So I have a guide to go by instead of, oh, you know, open, close. That way I know I can come in here and it's like, I can attack this area here, bend this over a bunch, hold it in place, you know, let it sit till it cools, and then go back, check it again, check the next piece, and see how it goes. So I have no idea how this is going to go, so this is just going to be time lapse so I can listen to music. All right, well, I spent, I don't know how long it was with the you know, the heating, because you need to get it around 200 degrees ish, give or take. So that's why I was using my it's around here somewhere. I move things around in the meantime, but in that range. But you got to make sure when you're heating this that you got to remember there's the back side of this too, so that's got to get a temperature as well. And you're not wanting to bend out here, you're essentially wanting to bend in this little crease area right here that you guys can't see, but if you work on one of these cars, you know it's there. Get you a little bit closer, and so I tried to C-clamps on there and a board across there. The problem was I'm just trying to bend way too much at one time when I've got the clamps and the board on there, and the framing on the backside does not make this easy because it goes straight down or bulbs around, doesn't make it easy. And I haven't even looked at that side there because when I switch to the crescent wrench, I know I'm going to be poking little dents in it and stuff. It's like, I don't care. It's just you know, it's a casualty of having to do this. But that did work quite a bit better because you're only localized on one area, and you're bending the fiberglass as well as the sheet metal in that one localized point every time, and you just have more control because of that. Best way in the world? No, but that's just what I'm doing. So I am not there 100%, but I will say I am far happier with it now. I've made a lot of progress. Now, if you're doing this on yours, don't be surprised at, like, say if I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, because why do it on camera? But I will say that at some point I will not be surprised if I heat it up enough, and when I heat it and I start bending it, that I actually break loose that adhesive that goes between the sheet metal and the fiberglass that glues them together. Will not surprise me one bit if I break that loose. And to be honest, that's not such a bad thing, because if that were to break loose, and then you could reach in there, I say with a Sawzall blade or something, get in there and just remove all that in the you know, affected, messed up area. If you could just remove all that out of there, that'll give you room to work essentially. So you could actually, after that broke loose, you could clean that out, you could bend the metal down, and then you could heat just the fiberglass itself, bend that down to meet the metal, and then you know, and then you've got that kind of bent down. Over bend it, always bend further than you need, no matter what it is, because it's going to spring back. But bend that down, and then you could come back and you could redo the adhesive in that between the sheet metal and the hood. I'll get you in close and I'll show you where I'm at now. It's not perfect, but it's quite a bit better than it was when I started. All right, so this is quite a bit better now. I mean, this is still high. It's still high there in areas, but before I was basically tripping over it. I'll put the camera back down here, do the square thing again so you can see that. I lost the square. Hang on, guys. Okay. All right, we're back. I can't see. I got to flip the little screen around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we go here. I'm not where I need to be right now, but say we're here, and I'm just going to run that down there, and we're going to see how different it is than it was when we started. Now, you and I both know that is not perfect. That's not what it should be. But that is a whole lot better than what I started with. So I got my little marks here. Now they're so messed up here, I'll need to go with a different color, but I can still kind of go by them because it's still kind of the same idea. I was just going and marking the worst high areas, working on them and bringing them down and go from there. But I would say I am far happier with this right here so far than what it started as. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'll get this side done. And yes, I am, you know, got all these marks all over the fiberglass, but you know what? Doesn't matter. You just got to do what you got to do to get that thing into place, and, you know, try to make it look halfway decent. So we'll do this one, and we'll do the other side, me, myself, and I, and the mouse in my pocket. and we'll get it done, hopefully. And hopefully I won't break the joint there, the glue joint there, which I probably will. I will probably heat this up, and I'll probably do something to it here a minute from now after I turn the camera off and break that joint in there. And like I said, if I do, it's not that big a deal. So I don't know if this will be the end of the video and it'll just magically be done, or let's just be the end of the video and you don't see it done because I don't feel like putting it in the rest of the video, because nobody's going to watch at this point anyway, because this is education, not entertainment. So let's see. All right, well, I thought I was going to leave it at that and say, hey, yeah, I showed you how I did it over here and it turned out pretty good, and need a little more fine tuning from where I left it off at the point just a few minutes ago. So I decided to come over here and look at this, but I thought I was just going to, leave it at that. I was wrong. This is turning into the Dynacorn hood from hell. That's a good title for the video. So I'm going to get you in close, and I'm going to show you a few pictures that may illustrate this a little better than the video, but I'll put them in there. And this is just bad. This is just really, really bad. Oh, this is bad. Okay, so the way I've got this sitting here is we are flush right here, and we're flush at this other end over here. So, okay, so we're good here and here. So the idea is that this hood now has to match this fender. It's not even close. Now I've had the factory fender on here as well, which is not a great fender, but this area up here is pretty much undamaged on that fender, and it's not markedly different than the way this aftermarket fender fits this hood. Very, very fine, small differences. Nothing to even worry about, to be honest. So this is not a fender issue. This is definitely all a hood issue. So like I said, right now I've got this flush here, and I have it flush here, and I can take my little square and put it on here. And I mean, you guys are like 3-4 feet away, and if you can't see that, then yeah, it's bad. I'll put this square right here and take a picture of it and show you how far off that is. And that's a 1/4-inch drill bit that you're looking at that is underneath that. So if I come this back here, put my 1/4-inch drill bit right here. In fact, this is actually over a 1/4 inch over the fender. Over, it's a quarter, yeah. Let's see where it is even. We're even right here. So right here we're even 1/4 inch above the fender. We're above the 1/4 inch here. We're still a little bit above it here. Right about there we're okay. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right about there we're flush. So, from wherever I was pointing up here, this is all a 1/4 inch or more above where it needs to be. This is crap. This is just utter, pure crap, guys. Yeah, this is just... Hang on, I gotta change the battery. Battery change, we're back. And as I left you with, this is crap. Utter, pure garbage. And I mentioned before that there was, I think I don't know if I mentioned it or not, I slept since then. But there's the two hoods, and there are different colors. There's the white one, and then there's a, I don't know, tan, beige, brown, whatever it is. I don't know. It's a different color. This is just bad. I honestly, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, should I just debond the entire fiberglass off of the metal, and then fix the metal, and then bend all of this fiberglass off of the frame, and then rebond it back to the steel? I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. Let you guys. What do you think I should do? Because I'm done messing with it right now. I'm done. This is just. I knew that this was it had issues, but this is that's just that is pathetic that something like this would make it out of the factory. I mean, that's bad. So, yeah, leave it in the comments what I should do. So, yeah.